Alright, so I'm going to just show you some of the basic toolings that I'm using on the Arrma Limitless speedrun builds. Let's get this out of the way. This is, for some reason, heat took that sticker with it. But this is MIP 7mm bit driver. The other one that I'm using is going to be MIP, I believe this one's a 5.5mm bit driver. And then I'm using a 1.5mm bit driver. This one just has a handle on it. This is a 2.5mm bit driver. Also has a handle on it. And then I'm doing a 2.0 bit driver. This also has a handle on it. And then a lot of the times the question that I get is how do I pretty much keep organized. What I normally do is just get a bit driver. Cut out some heat shrink. The heat shrink that I'm using is going to be from Amazon. It's going to be Wire 5 275 piece heat shrink. And this gyroscopic screwdriver that I'm using, you press this button right here, left and right. It's going to be a DC 682 by DEWALT. So what I normally do is I get that in there. I get that about lined up as possible. Turn on the heat shrink. That one seems not to want to work. Let's give it a try again. There we go. And that's pretty much dry right there. This is a 2.0 bit. I'm using MIP bit driver. It's a 9512 kit, and it comes with a 1.5, a 2.0, and a 2.5 kit. If you don't know your sizes, 3.0 is going to be the biggest, 2.5 is going to be the medium, and then 2.0, and then 1.5. On Arrma, it's usually dealing with those kits, which is going to be 1.5, 2.0, 2.5, and what I do is I grab the bit, and in America we read pretty much left to right, so I'm reading MIP right here, 2.5, and I'm going to pretty much install it like that. Apply our heat shrink as well. So that's pretty much in there. And you do get heat shrink with the factory kit. It's just a little bit thinner, and I tend to burn through it. So if you're one of those guys that burns through that heat shrink and you want to replace it, this is one of the fixes that I would say would be pretty quick. So I'm gonna grab this bit as well, and MIP is gonna go to the left, and then we're gonna go to the right. Hold that down. Apply our heat shrink. And do this a little bit. Alright, so that bit driver kit's pretty much done. We're going to take our end piece out. And that's pretty much it. We got a 1.5, our 2.0, and our 2.5 bit. So that's just a quick thing I do. You do, don't get me wrong, get the little MIP heat shrink, but it's like paper thin. It's a little bit thinner than I like. And it's a little bit too fresh or too hard of a material. So it's more like paper. You can see as it's creasing versus like a heat shrink. So this is just one thing I do. These are the tools that I kind of use on the basic setup, you use your stock Arrma gear or Arrma tool. You have a 17 millimeter, you have a 7 mil, a 10 mil, a 8 mil, and a lot of their mod or 3 mil bolts. It's gonna be a 5.5, so there you go, 5.5. They do use a lot of 4 mil bolts. That's gonna be about a 7.0. So I really haven't ran across on using the 10 or the 8. It's generic. They give you tooling for different sizes. The one thing to keep in mind is you could put this bit in here, put a screw through here. It's going to be about a 4 mil through here, through here, through here. Lock onto this and then use it like a regular wrench, but I'm not using that. I do use this Snap-on CT S861. If it was to lock up, it can be used as a ratchet, so I can make sure it's extra tight. And combined with this DCF 682 by DEWALT, gyroscopic screwdriver, and then basically just using wire strippers, some channel lock or pliers, and then some leverage pliers. I really can't get something I need to hold, but most of the time you heat it up, you break it loose, you'll get that heat shrink. Some smaller pliers, wire cutters, needle noses, and that nature that you'll need. But for the most part, this is what I'm using. That it's going to break apart most of the stuff on the Arrma Limitless chassis. And Fraction, Felony, it's kind of similar vehicles. You do want to use heat, break apart that blue Loctite or red Loctite if you need it. So just keep that in mind. Also use the DEWALT if needed, but it's a little bit too powerful for the applications that I'm using on. So one of those things I just want to point out there is just basic tooling. You don't need to go extreme on this. Break it loose by hand, hold your box wrenches. I have used in the past these cheaper versions of wrenches, and one thing I want to point out while we're here, you'll take this 2 mil, tighten that up, or what is it going to be? That 2 mil. You have to tighten this up, make sure this is tight so that this doesn't spin. A lot of the times this bolt will allow this to spin versus this being locked into the handle. So superior tools, it's going to come with superior like design improvements versus the cheaper stuff. So I do have, like I said, 7.0 box wrench. At the same time, if I'm cranking on this and the screw decides to spin, this is going to spin. So that's where these have their flaws. They're cheap to get you by, but in the long run, you're going to run into issues. This is a 3.0 that I've used. This is the bit, as you can tell, with that heat shrink, it starts to crack. And then I pretty much would get a little frustrated with that. So this is one of those ones that you'll want to put that heat shrink on. Luckily, we're doing this video so then that way I can kind of show you a little bit live on what I would do to prevent that heat shrink issue. And just like that, it's pretty done. So you are going to use a 1.5, 2.5 at times, 2.0, 3.0. So just a quick video on some of the basic tools that I would use. Don't cheap out. Buy it twice, do it right. Or you do it right and you save from buying it twice. So like, subscribe, share, do what you want, enjoy life, just have fun. Don't be out there causing issues with other people. Just enjoy life and go from there.